What is happening in your district? You have more than one plant there. And what can you do for the safety of workers in those plants?
Well, I'll tell you, we are very concerned about what we're seeing across the state, but very specifically that Waterloo plant, Tyson's in Waterloo, where we now know 44% of the workers have tested positive, and they were not given the right protection, the right mitigation efforts when this started getting bad. And we continue to be concerned about what we've seen from Tyson's. I've had experience as a state rep. I remember they were one of the leaders of gutting workers' compensation in the state of Iowa, and other states. And so they're hard for me to trust on a good day for caring about the health and safety of workers, let alone during a pandemic. And we've got a lot of folks who are scared, who are worried, and about their health and safety, their livelihoods. And I'm going to continue to have their backs, as their local leaders have as well. I just have to say that the mayor, the sheriff, the state representatives who have heard their stories, will continue to uplift them, and it's going to be up to the administration to decide whether they listen or not. But we'll continue to have their backs.
One person they should listen to is Dr. Sharon Duclos, who Rachel Maddow showed some of what Dr. Duclos had to say at the beginning of her hour. We're just going to listen to about 30 seconds of what Dr. Duclos had to say. She's in Waterloo. She's dealing with these patients. Let's listen to this.
I think about what would the person say to me who just died from this? How would they advocate helping other people not go through what they just went through? So that's what I think about. So for the other businesses, churches, restaurants, think about your community and think about your actions and think about how you can best serve the greater good.
Congresswoman, how can you get more people running these plants to pay attention to what Dr. Duclos just had to say?
Well, at the end of the day, we actually have to be listening to the workers. It's not just about talking to the CEOs and trusting that they're doing the right thing. It's about making sure that these workers are kept safe. And here, at the end of the day, they can say that, obviously, with the president using the Defense Production Act to open up these plants, you're not going to have a workforce going back to these plants when 44% have tested positive and when they aren't feeling safe because there's no enforceable safety standards. And so I would say to these CEOs, listen to your workers. And at the end of the day, if you do not have those protections in place, and they can say they do all day long, if the government does not actually have enforceable regulations here with actual OSHA in these plants, looking at what's going on and making sure that folks are feeling safe and actually have the right protection, then you're not going to have folks coming back in the first place. And so I would just, again, urge both Tyson's, but then also the president to listen to workers, to listen to the folks who are on the ground living it every day, who are putting themselves and their family at risk. This is so much against who we are as a nation and as Iowans to not be caring about our neighbors here who are, they're the folks who work their tails off every day in these plants, who their kids go to school with kids in their neighborhoods. They worship together. It's family in Iowa. And heck, my grandfather worked in meatpacking plants in Dubuque. It's part of who we are here, but you better treat people right. Otherwise, again, you're not going to have a workforce to begin with.